and welcome to our tutorial on replacing or upgrading your computer's processor, arguably the most complicated portion of building a PC. Before we begin, you will need the following tools and components. Our regular screwdriver, thermal compound, an ESD strap, the new processor, and of course the computer you're working on. Once the computer is unplugged, press and hold the power button for 10 seconds to drain any residual charge from the capacitors. Next, remove the side panel from the case. This may require the removal of the faceplate, the front of the case, or screws that secure the panel in place. The next step is to remove the heatsink, which sits on top of the processor. Ours uses screws. Make sure to unplug the fan wire as well. Each motherboard is slightly different in how its processor is housed, but most open with a lever next to the cover. Once open, gently remove the processor, making sure not to touch the pins underneath. Place the new processor into the slot. Notice the triangle on one of the corners of the processor. This indicates the direction the processor should be placed on the pin grid. And close the housing again. Try not to use excessive force when securing the processor. What are we, cavemen? Next, take your thermal compound and squeeze a pea-sized drop onto the middle of the... Not like... We're gonna pretend that didn't happen. If you screw up, don't worry, just wipe it off and reapply. Once properly applied, gently press the heatsink straight down onto the processor. Make sure it's level to ensure that no air bubbles form between the processor and the heatsink. Make sure not to forget to plug the fan back in. Once that's done, run the computer normally after the installation. Make sure it doesn't overheat. If it does, you're probably an idiot and didn't apply the thermal compound correctly. Thank you for watching our guide on how to replace a CPU. So easy, a caveman could do it. By cavemen, I mean us.